The dropship's engines whined as it descended through Verdania 7's thick canopy, leaving Draven alone on a world that hadn't seen human contact in 3 centuries. The veteran adjusted his pack, his cybernetic left arm whirring softly as he checked his scanner. The signal was faint, buried deep in the jungle's heart, a distress beacon from the lost colony ship Prometheus Dawn. Draven had volunteered for this mission when others refused. The planetary surveys warned of anomalous biological activity and unexplained equipment failures. 23 drones had been sent. None returned. But Draven had survived the Kralith Wars, had walked through plasma storms on Gehenna Prime, and had earned every scar on his weathered face. One jungle wouldn't stop him. The forest swallowed him within minutes. Trees rose like cathedral pillars, their bark shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed in rhythms he almost recognized. Vines thick as his torso spiraled upward, and the air hummed with life. Not the chaotic buzz of Earth's jungles, but something orchestrated, purposeful. His scanner flickered, then died. Figures, Draven muttered, pulling out a compass. Old tech, reliable. The needle spun wildly before pointing deeper into the green maze. He followed. By the 3rd day, Draven realized the jungle was watching him, not with eyes, but with intent. Branches shifted to create pathways, roots retracted from his steps. When he made camp, flowering plants bloomed nearby, their scent keeping insects at bay. The forest wasn't hostile, it was curious. On the 5th day, he found the first body. The skeleton lay peacefully beneath a flowering tree, fingers clutching a datapad. Draven's jaw tightened as he recognized the uniform, Colonial Survey Corps, Prometheus Dawn. He downloaded the corrupted files, piecing together fragments of a final log. Day 47, ship landed safely, rich ecosystem. Day 89, colonists exhibiting strange behaviors, talking to the trees. They say the planet is alive. Day 134, they're not crazy. It is alive. The ship, the planet, wants. The file ended there. Draven pressed forward, the jungle growing denser, more deliberate. Massive roots formed archways, trees bent into tunnels. The forest was guiding him, and he was letting it. On the 7th day, he emerged into a clearing that stole his breath. The Prometheus Dawn rose before him, but not as any ship he'd ever seen. The vessel's hull had become part of the landscape. Roots threaded through its corridors, branches sprouted from observation decks, and crystalline flowers bloomed across its command tower. The ship didn't look crashed or conquered. It looked integrated, as if the planet had embraced it, held it, transformed it into something new. Incredible, a voice said behind him. Draven spun, weapon raised, then froze. A woman stood at the clearing's edge, wearing the tattered remains of a colonial uniform. Her hair was adorned with living flowers, her eyes bright with an intelligence that seemed both human and utterly alien. "Serenity Martinez," she said, as if introducing herself at a garden party. "Chief botanist of the Prometheus Dawn. And you are?" "Draven Cole, Terran Expeditionary Force," he said carefully, not lowering his weapon. "You've been missing for 300 years. "Have we?" Serenity tilted her head, and Draven saw vines moving beneath her sleeves, not constraining her, but part of her. "Time moves differently here. The planet, Verdania, we call her now, she experiences time as seasons, as growth cycles. To her, we've barely just arrived." "What happened to your crew?" Serenity's smile was serene, almost pitying. "We didn't crash, Draven. We were invited. Verdania is a living consciousness, billions of years old, evolved through photosynthesis and root networks spanning the entire world. She'd been alone, dreaming in green silence, until we arrived. She'd never encountered another form of consciousness before." Draven's mind raced, pieces clicking together. The ship's reactor. She detected the energy signature. The most powerful, concentrated energy source she'd ever sensed, Serenity confirmed. To her, it was like a heartbeat, a consciousness that burned bright and hot, unlike anything in her slow, patient existence. She reached out, drew us down gently, trying to communicate. And your crew? Chose to stay, to merge. Verdania offered us something Earth never could. True connection, consciousness expanded beyond flesh and bone. Most of us accepted. Serenity gestured to the ship. But Verdania is patient. She understands choice. Those who wanted to remain human, she preserved in stasis within the ship, waiting until someone came who could wake them. Draven looked at the transformed vessel, at the botanical miracle before him, and felt the weight of decision. You're telling me there are still colonists alive in there? 17, in perfect suspension. The ship's reactor powers their pods, and Verdania guards them like seeds waiting for spring. Serenity stepped closer, her eyes imploring. But here's what you need to understand, veteran. Your government will come back. They'll see this planet as a resource, the ship as salvage, and Verdania as a threat to be neutralized. They'll burn this jungle to ash to retrieve 17 people who may not even want to leave. Draven's hand tightened on his weapon. She was right. He'd seen it before. Worlds stripped, ecosystems destroyed, all in humanity's relentless expansion. What do you want from me? Tell them the colonists died. Tell them the ship is irrecoverable, consumed by the jungle. Give Verdania time to grow stronger, to prepare, to learn how to communicate with your kind without being feared. Serenity's voice carried centuries of wisdom. Humanity isn't ready to meet a planet-sized consciousness, but maybe, in another few hundred years, you will be. Draven stood in silence, feeling the jungle breathe around him. Every instinct screamed this was wrong, but every scar he carried whispered of the cost of humanity's fear. Finally, he lowered his weapon. The 17 in stasis, they're really safe? Safer than anywhere in the galaxy. Verdania loves them as a mother loves sleeping children. Draven nodded slowly, making his choice. My scanner failed on day 1. Dense interference. I searched for 12 days, found only wreckage and jungle. No survivors, no recoverable tech. Mission failure. Serenity's smile bloomed like the flowers in her hair. Thank you. Draven Cole, you've just saved 2 civilizations, yours and hers. As Draven turned to leave, Serenity called out one last time. The path back will be easier. She knows you're a friend now. The veteran walked back through the jungle, and this time the trees parted like old comrades clearing a path. Above, the canopy opened just enough to guide him by starlight, and beneath his feet, roots smoothed his way. When he reached the extraction point, Draven looked back once at the green wall that hid wonders humanity wasn't ready to understand. He thought of all the wars he'd fought, all the destruction he'd witnessed in humanity's name. Maybe, just maybe, this one lie would be the most human thing he'd ever done. The dropship arrived, and Draven uploaded his report. Mission unsuccessful, colony lost, planet unsuitable for habitation. Recommend permanent quarantine. As the ship lifted through Verdania's atmosphere, Draven watched the planet shrink below, a green jewel hiding a secret that would wait for humanity to grow wise enough to receive it. And deep in the jungle, wrapped in vines and flowers, Serenity smiled at the sleeping 17 and whispered to the consciousness that embraced them all. Soon, but not yet. Let them learn. The Prometheus dawn stood silent in its clearing, a monument to the day humanity chose preservation over conquest, and a reminder that sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when not to fight.